Hey guys, I thought I'd take a break from recapping that Halicrafters set to test the tubes. This set uses two basic types. These larger tubes they call octal tubes because there's 8 pins in the base, and these miniature 7-pin types. I've pulled out 3 tube testers here so you can get a little taste of how vintage tube testers work. On the far left here we have a Series 920 electrodynamic tube and set tester made by the Precision Apparatus Company of Brooklyn, New York. This one's a little chewed up, so I'm not actually going to plug it in. It comes in this nice mahogany box, and originally there would have been a lid to cover the entire top. Somebody cut that down to just this little pencil box, and there are some look to be broken off leads in here. But it is a pretty cool model. In fact, the whole 900 series is pretty cool because not only is this a tube tester, but it can also measure voltage, current, and resistance, and test batteries. I also like the mechanism on this. These nice push button action here, and the gigantic neon light bulb for the short indicator. One of these days I hope to get another one of these, and maybe between the two I can get a nice working set. On the other end here I have I think my favorite, which is just because it's nice and compact, and it does all the tubes I normally encounter with TVs and radios. This is an NRI Professional Model 69 tube tester. You can see compared to the Precision Apparatus, it's quite a bit more compact. Instead of the push buttons, this uses flip levers, which is a little more conventional. Yeah, I can do the basic octal type here, and these are what they call loctals. You commonly find those in like all American 5 radios. And here's the 9-pin miniature type, 7-pin, and then the older guys with the 4, 5, and 6-pin sockets. And the way these basically work, all 3 of these models, is they all have this scrollable roll in here, and you need to scroll to find the tube that you want to test. And then it tells you how to set the various controls, the A switch, which is typically the mode, so like whether it's a rectifier or an amp, a triode, etc. And then this is very important, set the filament voltage. If you set this too high, then you put a tube in, you're very likely going to burn it out, so always keep this down low before you're ready to test, and then make sure you get it set right. And then the C is usually the load, which is the plate resistance. And once you have that set up, let the tube warm up for a while. Make sure there are no shorts. Those would be, say a little bit of metal comes loose inside the glass envelope. I might short out like, maybe the grid to the plate, and that's very bad. If you put that into a working circuit, you could damage other components, so you want to make sure that there are no shorts. If there aren't, you go ahead and flip this lever, and you read the meter reading off of it. And the center here is the main one I use because it can handle the widest variety of tubes. This is made by the Triplet Corporation. It's the 4313B. Same deal, variety of sockets, levers you flip up and down, you select your filament, and you scroll through here and find your settings. And then you accordingly set the A circuit, the filament, and the C load. Alright, I'm going to put the camera down for a sec, plug these in, and I'll show you how it actually works in practice. Okay, the first thing you want to do for any of these models is set the line, which is this. The idea is that you want to calibrate these for the line voltage in your current area. Back in the day, it could vary quite a bit from one part of the country to another. So the way you do that is you rotate it until it's right in the line test. Alright, let's see. Pull out one of these tubes. 12SN7. This set uses a bunch of these guys. It's a basic dual triode. The prices on these have been driven up quite a bit by the audiophiles, because I think a lot of guitar amps use these for the preamp stages, so I hope these are good. I don't have to buy any. So let's see, find 12SN7 on the roll here. Alright, now you see it says test 1 and 2. Well, that's for each of the 2 tryout sections in there. So first you do one section, then you check the other side. So the first column under each of these, let's see, A, position 2, 12.6 volts. That's what the 12 and 12SN7 means, by the way. It's 12 volts. If it was a 6SN7, that means it'd be a 6.3 volt filament. C load at 29, right on. Up. So 1 and 2. And down 3 and 7. Alright, pop this into the octal socket. Sometimes when you put a tube in, especially if it's a large power amp tube, the line test will actually dip down because it's sucking up so much current. So you might need to tweak it up a little bit. Short indicator is off, so there are no shorts. The way you actually check for shorts is some of these numbers are in bold, some are not. The ones that are not in bold, you flip those to the opposite position and see if the light comes on. Once the tube's heated up, put it down to the value and you read it off. So, weak, but certainly still in the green range. And now we'll do the other side, which is up 4, 5, and down 6, 7. And that's good too. Alright. Now I'll move on and show you how it works in the triplet. I finished testing all 6 of the 12SN7s and they're all good. So, let's move on to this tester and do some of these miniature guys. In particular, this is a 6AU6. They use these in the IF stages. I already scrolled the roll over here, the 6AU6. So, first off, it's a circuit type 2 and 6.3 volts. C load of 22. Oops. And up 1, 2, 5, 6. Down 4, 7. And pop it in this little socket here. While it's heating up, I should mention that if you're in the market for a tube tester, be prepared to shell out some bucks, especially if you want one of the nicer tube testers like a Hickok 539, 752, or 6000A, or maybe a model TV-7 military tube tester, because those are what they call transconductance tube testers, while these are emission tube testers. Difference being, this just has this big old meter. It says bad or good. All it's really checking is that the filament is glowing and that it is emitting electrons and they're making it to the plate. What a transconductance tester will do is actually check the gain of the tube in micromhos. That's especially important for audio circuitry, like if you have a push-pull output stage and you want to use 2 matched tubes. This won't do that for you. You're going to need to get one of those transconductance tube testers. Now, it wasn't so bad back in the 80s and into the 90s, but these days a lot of people are interested in vacuum tube gear, especially when it comes to audio amps. So I've seen those models I've just mentioned sell upwards of $1,000 if they've been restored and calibrated. Whereas these emission testers, you can usually get one for under $100 if you look around. So if you're looking for one, all I can say is good luck. Let's see. Okay, so this tube is warmed up by now, and yeah, that's good. All right. Just to show you what the short would look like if there was one, I'll flip one of these levers over that it says not to, which is number 4, and that's what you would see if there was indeed an element shorted. So I'm going to finish testing the rest of these tubes, but so far they're all good. And then carry on with recapping. That's all for now.